Okay, now we're live, guys.
Good morning, everyone. How is everyone today?
I think
Oh, you know
everybody's
what?
muted.
We forgot to make copies of the form. How do you like that?
Oh.
We don't do very good when Jessica's not here. When Jessica's not here, it doesn't happen good. Okay, yeah, AOAA and yeah, ASA. Okay, so we're gonna start out. We're going to be talking about the AOAA first, the Assignment of Agreement Addendum. This form is used when the buyer needs to add a buyer, remove a buyer, or change the entity status of the buyer. We're doing great here. I just can't change the slide. Oh, I see. No, that didn't happen. Oh, I got it. Okay. So we're gonna start out. Yeah. Well, we've already went through the whole presentation. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for staying. Oh my God, Mitz.
It's all right.
This is so funny. We gotta go back.
How far?
All the way, right there.
Okay.
So, alrighty, here we go. So we're gonna talk about the RPA section 23, buyer has a right to assign. Paragraph 23 of the RPA lays out the procedure of an assignment to take place. If the buyer is assigning all of their interests to either their own trust, any wholly entity of the buyer that is in existence at the time, then the buyer has the right to make the assignment and does not need seller's consent. This really was surprising to me. I was very surprised. So something I learned about studying this in wholesaling, so say you are the listing agent and you're also representing the buyer and you have a buyer in contract, and say that buyer just doesn't perform or they decide not to purchase the home, you can actually give the right to a new buyer, even if you're in backup position. Did you know that, Paul? I did not either. So you could actually assign it, right? With all the terms have to be the same, but you can assign it to a new buyer. Isn't that interesting? I was not aware of that.
So I
In
have a
any
question.
other,
I have a
go
question.
ahead.
I'm Cindy Fernandez.
Hi, Cindy.
Okay, hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. So just so my brain can register.
Yes.
You're the listing agent. I'm the buyer's agent. I make an offer. I end up not coming up with the money, whatever the reason is. You sent me a document saying you either perform or we cancel. I'm going to wholesale that deal or I'm going to give it to somebody else. I could do that, right?
You can.
Same terms, same everything.
Has to be the same terms. Yes.
Same terms. What about time of close? So if we had 10 days.
Yeah, it's supposed to be all the same terms,
Perfect.
although if the seller agrees to some different terms, that would be fine. But starting out, you do have to meet all the same terms. So they could put the pedal to you and make you
And
hit
then
those
will
terms.
we do an addendum for all the disclosures if all disclosures were signed, or do we have to?
Yeah, we'll
all
get
the
to that.
disclosures?
So,
Okay.
yes, we're
Cool.
gonna go over, the assignment, what you would do, and then if you're just doing additional signature, what you would do.
Perfect.
Okay. And then in any other circumstance, buyer may not assign the contract without first getting the separate written consent of the seller to the specified assignee. The seller's consent, notably, cannot be unreasonably withheld. So in other words, the seller really, they do have to cooperate with it unless they don't meet the time frames. Okay. We're gonna go here. So RPA section 23 timeframe. If the buyer does not deliver the assignment request and satisfy the requirements within 17 days after acceptance or whatever time is specified in the RPA, 3K, then the seller the seller's withholding of consent to the assignment shall be deemed reasonable. So in other words, we're just going back over the timeframes again. And then on 23, it's going to be the assignment nomination. That's quite a bit there, but we'll go into section 1. So section 1, partial or total assignment. So A, B, or C has to be checked. One of those have to be checked. So A would be adding a party, a spouse, a parent needed for co-signing or something like that. B, total assignment, completely replacing the original buyer, in other words, wholesaling. C, other, replacing or deleting a buyer with at least one of the original buyers still involved. Write the name of the buyer being deleted on line C. So that's where you would put who's being deleted, okay? And then D would write in the name of the new buyer. And E, check box if the buyer is just moving the purchase into their trust or business, okay? Everybody understand that pretty well? Any questions? We're good. So we're going to move on to section 2, prior documents. So prior documents, assignee shall initial the first page of each document, delivered to the seller all of the transaction documents previously approved by the buyer, including but not limited to all contract documents, inspections, reports, pamphlets, advisories, and disclosures within the time specified. Unless otherwise agreed, assignee acknowledges that all timeframes in the agreement remain the same, and no additional time shall be provided for any matter, including but not limited to investigation, review of documents, or close of escrow. So other terms would be A, standard is that the new buyer assignee reviewed and agreed the terms. B, states that the new buyer assignee has been pre-approved or pre-qualified. C, standard is that the new buyer, at minimum, initial the top of each document and return to seller. And then D, seller can cancel if new buyer assignee does not sign all the documents. So Jessica, who checks our files in Fresno, she really likes all the documents to be signed. So not just the front page, but she would prefer all the documents being signed. And then also you could do, there's a form that for all reports, all inspections, you could do that form and check. That would also help from trying to go back and get everything signed. Okay. But in contract, it says just the first page. Okay. And then section 3 and 4 through 9, consideration for assignment. The standard is the buyer is not receiving any money from the assignee. B, check the box if the original buyer is receiving funds from the assignee. And section 4 through 9 are advisories and clarification that the new buyer agrees to everything in the original contract. And on B, when you do check the box, if the original buyer is receiving funds from the assignee, like wholesaling, there is a place where you would put that amount or percent. Okay. And then 7 would be other terms. All terms and timelines stay the same, remember. Okay. So if you guys, that's a pretty, I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a complicated form, but if you read through it, it's just, a matter of checking the box of whatever assignment that you're dealing with. And it's pretty self-sam. Does anybody have any questions on that one? Paul?
When you said you could remove a buyer,
Yes.
have you had that happen?
Paul's asking if you can remove a buyer. Have I had that happen? Yes, because if you're in contract and maybe the lender gets a little deeper and they find out that a buyer doesn't qualify or something's up, their credit, and they might take someone off. And I know that in VA loans, quite a bit, they'll remove a spouse and then maybe put them on at the end. So, yeah.
And in an investment situation?
Well, wholesaling, you know, they do for sure for investment. Yeah, all the time they're doing wholesaling now. Yeah. Does anyone have anything to say about that, the wholesaling, or Cindy, do you see that a lot?
Yes, when people remove themselves off the contract, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Are you seeing a lot of wholesaling in your area too?
You know what? We do see a lot of wholesaling in our
Yeah.
area. Mm-hmm.
We're
I
seeing it more.
I just didn't know that because I know I'm part of coaching for wholesale through
Mhm.
two agents that are well, they're licensed, but they're in Fresno. Um, and they do that quite a bit. They make a lot of offers on the MLS. And so I always wonder how they got across, all those documents and stuff, but I guess you
Now you see, huh?
yeah, yeah. I
I'm
haven't done
surprised
so.
because the board asked me to go over this class.
Uh-huh.
And I really hadn't studied it. And I do see wholesaling happening in our office for sure. Like compared to 3 years ago, I'm seeing it. But
Mhm.
when I started reading this document, I was really kind of shocked just how easy they've made it. Wow. Isn't it
Mhm.
surprising?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. So we're going to go into the AOAA summary. Buyers can add, delete, or assign a new buyer to the contract. 2, adding, changing, or a buyer does not change the contract timelines. 3, the new buyer assignee has to agree to all terms of the original contract. 4, in most cases, the seller has to agree to the assignment. See Section 23 of the RPA. And then AOAA summary, effect of assignment. The original buyer, however, is not released from the obligation or covenants of the agreement and could still be liable along with the assignee in the event of a breach. So in other words, if you do assign somebody, the first person's not truly off the hook if they don't perform. All parties involved are advised to seek legal advice regarding the assignment, as brokers and agents cannot advise on potential legal or tax consequences that could arise. Okay. And if we don't have any questions on that, we'll move into the ASA, which is a lot easier. And I think it's better news than the ASA. Okay. So ASA additional signature addendum, too many principles to fit on the form. So use the ASA form for remaining principles to sign, only those that don't fit on the actual document. Be sure to designate which document the ASA is referencing. This is not for assigning a new principal, only overflow signatures. So this form is pretty simple. If you have 2 people on on any contract, you're going to go to this for your 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever it is. This is what you're going to use. Okay. So much easier than the last form. The ASA additional signature addendum, section 1, identify the agreement the ASA is referencing. Don't forget to add the date of the original form. So the date has to be the original form. And then ASA additional signature addendum, section 2, CAR simplifies the form to include the major contract documents and disclosures. Check the box for the correct forms, write the form name in other. So in other words, if you have 2 more people on, just say a purchase agreement, okay, and you've used the overflow, you can go right up to the purchase, check the box, and all of those documents will be included. You will need to add in the LDAA, which is liquid damages and arbitration additional signature addendum, just to make sure everyone's on the same page with that. But it notes that right there in bold letters. So, and then if you had a listing that had maybe 4 or 5 brothers and sisters on there or something like that, you could hit listing and it would include all of those forms. So they wouldn't need to sign all those forms, which is lovely. That's a really great thing. But Jessica warned me on this that say you do a purchase and you check the box, every time that you get a new document into the transaction, you're going to have to do another one of these forms. for for every other thing that you get. Or where it says other, you could write in home inspection, you could write in different things that you've received and then have them sign another one. So you could, like she said, you could maybe have 5 of these in the file to cover all the things that you're going through in the transaction. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think this is like really good news to me that you wouldn't have to go and sign every, have so many people sign. Makes it a lot easier for them. And then ASA additional signature addendum, print the party's name, select the correct box for the role of the party, buyer, seller, then have them sign. Remember, if X and Y sign the original docs, only Z needs to sign the ASA. Okay. And then, thank you. That was very short and sweet. Does anyone have any questions? You've never used that, Paul?
I used both.
Mitz has used both in his last transaction. Yes, and that's another thing. We're seeing that both of these forms are being used a lot. Hey, Mitz, can you get us on your car on here? There's one other thing I did want to share with you guys. I'm going to pass out a quick guide to you guys on assigning contracts. People that are here, but I want to show everybody how to get onto quick guides. If you haven't been on quick guides, they help so much.
Sorry, guys, I'm going the long way around. You wanted car, right?
Yeah, car.
Oh, it's not transactions, it's,
It's just gonna be industry or
okay.
perfect.
Okay.
So
Everybody can see that, right?
I think,
Oh, yeah.
can you see it, Cindy? Yeah. So I love this about car. So I'm just gonna show you guys, if you do a search, because I think it's hard to find things on car. They're really buried and sometimes I'm like, why can't I find this? But if you go right up to type in keyboard, if you put in quick notes, or I'm sorry, quick guide, you have to know the name, Sandra, quick guide. It's going to pull up all these quick guides and they're so great because each thing on a contract, they just have these little quick notes. It's usually 1-pagers on almost everything. And I love this. So say you want to know, let's just do, I thought there was I don't see it. Here's an open house post settlement. So this tells you everything about what you need to be doing at your open house in the post-NAR settlement world. 1-pager. So I just love these. On almost every document, they have a quick guide. And I use them a lot just to see. I also give them to my clients sometimes if I'm trying to explain something. I'll just do a little quick guide with them. So here's a probate listing. So say you're taking a probate listing. You can get right on there and find out what do I do in a probate listing. So I think that's very valuable. Anybody using those? I love them. And then let me show you one other one. And that is, I think it's called tutor forms. I always get it confused. Yeah, so quick guide and then forms tutor. If you search forms tutor, it's going to take you here to forms tutor. And where it's red, it says access forms tutor. Go in there and this is the ASA that we went over, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the ASA we went over today. So you can go there, and when you press the little blue button, it will actually read the highlights and the most important thing about the contract. So let's see if it'll play.
There are more than two buyers or sellers. An additional signature addendum, CAR Form ASA, is needed to document that the additional parties have agreed to contractual terms or disclosures. If parties are being added to a contract after it was already created, the new replacement principal should use an assignment of agreement addendum, CAR Form AOAA.
And then let's go here and see what it says.
When additional signers are being added to certain forms, they should also indicate that they agree to the terms not only of the primary document, but also the bundled forms. This paragraph lists forms that are bundled with purchase contracts, listing agreements, buyer representation agreements, and residential lease or month-to-month rental agreement. If additional signers are added to a TDS or SPQ, a pre-printed option exists. Other forms can be identified as well. Multiple forms can be listed in the other box, but the best practice dictates that those forms should all be presented for signature to the signers at the same time. It is expected that the ASA form will likely be needed multiple times in a transaction in which there are more than two principals. When a purchase agreement is initiated, all parties are required to initial the liquidated damage clause and arbitration clause if those clauses are to be included as part of the agreement. Since there is no space for additional signers to initial those paragraphs in the primary purchase agreement, an addendum has been created to show the additional signers' desire to include or exclude those paragraphs. See liquidated damages and arbitration additional signature addendum, CAR Form LDAA.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. So I think a lot of people are missing that. It's kind of buried. So remember forms, tutor, and quick guides. Okay. And that'll help you guys a lot. I go to them all the time to find out stuff. So when Jessica's not here, I go to forms, tutor, or quick guide. So anyways, if there's no questions, anybody have any questions? Or are we all good? We all understand those?
Thank you. You were awesome. Short to the
Oh, well,
point.
thank you.
I
Yes,
learned
I'm more
something.
relaxed. Huh? I had to do this at the board and I was nervous. I was like, oh, I'm not nervous around my agents though.
Yeah.
But
No, it was great. I didn't know that car had that thing to do the guide. So yeah, for sure.
I
That
know,
was
isn't that cool?
great
Yeah,
nugget.
I learned that last year. I use it all the time and most agents don't know. It is buried. So you have to, if you remember the two names and you go into search, it's so much easier than trying to, you just get frustrated.
Yeah.
Hey, Cindy, did you have Bob put the tools page on your computer?
You know what? We're actually meeting with Bob next Monday. So should I
Yeah.
mention that to him?
Yeah, tell him to put the tools page on your computer because it'll have like car on there, NAR, it'll have Century 21. It has everything on the full page and it just helps me remember everything.
She wants you to put
It's
it on
all
a
in,
page because it was her invention.
yeah, it's my invention. I made Bob do it. Because I feel
Alright.
like we forget things. We forget to go to car, we forget to go to NAR, and I just forget things. So he made a
Yeah.
whole page, make him put it on your computer and your
I
team's
will.
computer.
I'll get that. Thank you so much. I like to
Yeah,
have everything really organized myself too, especially for anything. It's so much easier.
Yes, it's easier. And sometimes everything gets buried,
Yeah.
so you kind of forget, well, what are all the tools? So I love using that. I make all my new agents use it. It's really neat.
Thank you.
Anyways, welcome back.
Thank you. Looking forward in
All right.
person.
Okay. Are we good, Mitz?
Yeah.
Anybody else in the chat or anything? We're okay? Okay. Yay. All right. I made it through. Jessica will be back next week, I believe.
Yep.
So
Uh,
yeah,
Next
all
Wednesday.
right. And she's
All
way
right.
better than me, so hold out for her. All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay, wait a minute. There was something in the chat.
Oh, was
but I
there
think
something in
that's
the chat?
true. I put 2 in there. Does the new person need to sign all docs? No. They just need to sign the ASA.
Does the new person need to sign? Well, are they asking about which form?
I think it's the ASA.
Yeah, they're
that was
probably
my
asking
comment.
about, yeah,
Yeah.
here's the A, yeah,
All right, I think we got it.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.